Welcome to another edition of Rick and Bubba University, the podcast, a unique podcast, which happens most every week, not every week, but most every week. And it's hosted by yours truly, Rick and Bubba. We're professors at Rick and Bubba University, handing out degrees in common sense. That now, of course, is a superpower. You can also catch us on our weekday show. That's the big show, Bubba. And you can find out how to do that by going to Rick and Bubba, spell out the word and.com, if you'd like to find all the Rick and Bubba content that is available. And Bubba, I said Rick and Bubba content because it kind of ties in to our guest today. Please welcome to Rick and Bubba University YouTube influencer, Andrew Parker.
Andrew,
how you doing, buddy?
Hey-o.
What's going on, buddy?
How's it going?
Now, Rick, I'll tell you, I first met Andrew years ago when he was playing tennis in Pelham, Alabama, against and with, at times, my kids, and I was coaching. And, before I know it, Hunter one day said, Andrew Parker that we used to know from Pelham, do you know he's like a big deal on YouTube? And I said, really? And he said he has over 1 million followers.
What?
And I said, I did not know that.
No.
So, Andrew, walk us through, you're in high school at Pelham High School, or living in Pelham.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now you're in L.A. with over 1 million subscribers, over 100,000 Instagram followers, over 500,000 TikTok followers. How does that happen?
Yeah, and we want to really know that, Andrew, because one thing, we have a radio show that runs 4 hours with Bubba and I on it, 5 hours total, and you have more subscribers and followers than we do.
No,
and,
Rick, not kind of.
It's not even close.
Let me give you an example. We have about 94,000 followers on YouTube. Andrew has over 1 million, tenfold what we have. Okay.
Yeah. What does that? I mean, I want to be thrilled for you, but it's a bit disheartening. So you first of all, I have to ask this: you're dressed like Spider-Man. Is this because of your last name Parker? Is this a play on Peter Parker, Andrew Parker?
Yeah. So there are a couple of reasons. Yeah, my dad wanted to name me Peter. My mom wouldn't let him.
Okay.
He's a big comic guy. I might change my middle name to Peter. But yeah, Peter Parker. My last name's Parker. My first name's Andrew. The person who plays Spider-Man is Andrew. I used to do acrobatics. I've been bitten by a spider. I kind of look like Peter Parker. Yeah, those are all the reasons.
You really do.
So, but let's go back to square one.
Let's go back,
Andrew.
to square one.
How do you go from mild-mannered young man living in Pelham to you're in L.A. with 1 million followers now?
I mean, it's a lot of stuff. It's a long story.
Well, we got time.
Great. I started making videos on YouTube in 2014. So I've been doing it almost a decade. And the reason I'm out in LA, there's a few reasons. I went to college in Florida, and while there was this other YouTuber that was already successful numbers wise, who knew about me and kind of hired me to do like editing and social media management for him. So I was working for him for a couple of years, and then he decided to hire me out full time to LA. So that's why I moved out to LA originally, was to kind of work more full time with him. That was basically my job, and I was still doing my own stuff on the side, editing and posting my own videos, just like I had been for 6 years before that. And then I'd probably say in the last year and a half, my own videos started to do well. I finally found something that I liked and that worked, and I kind of doubled down on it. So I always tell people that I've been doing it almost a decade, and the first 7 or 8 years was just pure misery, because it was just all I thought about all the time was making YouTube videos, and nothing ever worked. So I gained about 40,000 subscribers in 7 or 8 years. And in the last year and a half, I gained the other 800, 900,000.
So I guess having the connection with the guy gave you a good foundation. Is that what you're saying? He was able to point people to you. You found an influencer that using their influence to kind of get you off the ground?
So he helped me have a foundation out in California for sure.
Yeah.
And he helped, we kind of always would help each other brainstorm video ideas and thumbnails and titles. And I would meet people through him. So he helped me in a lot of ways, but I would say the views and the subscribers I mean, I worked for him for a year or so, and that didn't really change. What changed was I found something that worked and doubled down on it, and then that kind of just exploded.
Let's talk about too how rare it is to have 1 million people following you on YouTube. You actually get an award from YouTube when you pass that, correct?
Yep, it's right over there. And
show it to us. What is it? Can you show it to us?
Can you get it, Peter Parker?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay. Yeah. Right. I want to see it.
Rick, you get a. I think it's a golden button.
Is this going to be as elusive for us as any award in radio is? we just can't quite grab it, can we?
Well, it's just
right, yeah, okay.
Don't fit the mold, do we?
Right, we just don't.
So what do you call this, Andrew?
This is a play button. You get one when you pass 100,000. It's a silver one, and then when you pass 1 million, you get the gold one.
We may get a silver one. Look at that. We can reach a silver one. Look at that. How cool is that? Surely you've got that. You hang that on the wall? Is it ready to hang?
Yeah, I'm going to. I want to do like a little photo shoot with it. You know?
You have to.
And then I also have so my main channel is the Wafello channel that has 1 million subscribers, and then I've also started a podcast. So I'll probably hang this on the podcast set because we have a place for it.
Yeah. You know what just hit me in this interview, Andrew? Is that we need you more than you need us.
Very much.
I don't think that's true.
Andrew, how that other guy kind of helped you out. Yeah, we kind of need a push too.
You wouldn't throw an old tennis coach a bone, would you?
I don't know about that.
Would it kill you to take off the Spider-Man suit and put a Rick and Bubba shirt on?
I'd be down. I'd love to.
So Andrew, you've got these people who are watching your content. Mm-hmm. And let's talk about content. Yeah. What kind of things did you start doing, and what all are you doing now? And then I want to talk about what that has kind of evolved into as far as star power in LA.
Okay, so basically, just like what's my content? Like,
what kind of videos did you start making? I mean, I've seen you do some man on the street stuff.
Yeah, so my content has evolved a lot in the last decade. Obviously, like what I did originally is not what I'm doing now. I used to do vlogs. I used to do a lot of magic. I used to do escape videos. I used to do videos where I was jamming out to songs in my car. I used to do like comedy news videos. Like it's been a bunch of different stuff. And then TikTok became a thing. On TikTok, randomly one day, I decided to just like ask people some Disney trivia questions because I'm a big nerd. I've always been good at, nerdy movie trivia. Growing up, we would watch those movies and play like Disney Scene It, stuff like that. And that did well on TikTok. There was one that I posted that got 1 million views, and then I posted another one right after, and it got 2 million views. So I was like, cool. I like Disney, I like Marvel, so I'll try this. And I kind of doubled down on it on TikTok, and then I eventually decided to do it over on YouTube. I held off on YouTube for a while because I was like, I've had this YouTube channel for 8 years. I don't want to just randomly start doing trivia. But if you have a YouTube channel that you've done for 8 years and no one is watching you after 8 years, you might as well try something,
Yeah, maybe we should take that, Rick.
Right, yeah.
Content. So, we're not willing to put the content out.
Yeah, you got to make the leap of faith.
That's what we're doing right now.
Right, it is. This is some content.
Yeah, this is content.
Look at us doing content.
This is content. Yeah. Make some shorts out of it. Post it on YouTube. Post it on TikTok.
So you did interviews, and then I saw somewhere you were doing movie reviews.
Yeah. So that's probably more on the podcast side. I do some of it on the Wafello channel as well. So I have the Wafello channel and then the Escape Pod.
The what
podcast.
Kind of channel? What channel?
So the Wafello channel, that's the name of my channel, Wafello.
Okay.
That's where I mainly do like the trivia challenges, street interviews, stuff like that. And then I also have the Escape Pod podcast, which I started in January. So basically
But wait, I don't want you to blow by that. The Escape podcast, you do magic, but you do like Houdini magic. You not just simple things.
Right. So that's one of the reasons the podcast got its name. Even though we've done it a couple times on the pod, but not a ton. One of my, because I was a magician, it kind of led me into, I was thinking of, okay, I like doing magic, but what's a better way to do it on YouTube? And I eventually, there was a magic website that I got emails from, and they sent out an email. They're like, we're having a special on straitjackets. And I was like, that's freaking cool. I'll take one of those. And then I basically decided to put myself in the straitjacket and tie myself to a cinder block and throw myself in a pool for a YouTube video. and have to escape and all that stuff. So that kind of led me to doing a bunch of escapes and escape rooms, and I've done underwater escapes on TV shows and all this. But picking handcuffs, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's one of those things when you say something, it's rare in a conversation with other people. They go, yeah, me too.
I've been chained and put in a straitjacket and tied to a cinder block and thrown in the deep end of a pool.
Yeah, I've always looked on them.
While somebody records it.
Yeah, I've always looked and said, oh, look, they got a deal on straitjackets.
Yeah.
I'll take one. All right, we'll come back.
It was $100. It was great.
Yeah, we'll come back. We'll continue our conversation with YouTube influencer Andrew Parker when Rick and Bubba University, the podcast, continues.
This is the Rick and Bubba Show. Watch more at blazetv.com/Rick and Bubba.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba. Andrew Parker is our guest. He is a YouTube influencer, 1.03 million subscribers, Instagram followers 100,000, TikTok followers 576 plus thousand, and then over 42 million likes. He is a magician, an acrobat, an actor, a juggler. Bubba, just what in the world?
Andrew, I've seen some of your escape videos too. How did you learn to do that? I mean, you don't just start by putting yourself in a straitjacket and jumping in a pool. I mean, you have to be trained with some of that, right?
Yeah. So when I bought the straitjacket, I also got a 4 DVD set of escapology that just kind of taught you a bunch of escape stunts and stuff like that. So basically I would practice a straitjacket on dry land, and then I would get in the pool and I would practice it in the shallow end. And I would kind of just put my face in the water and hold my breath and practice it. And I did that enough to the point where I was like, okay, let's just do it with a cinder block. And this was in my aunt's backyard in her pool.
She appreciates that.
With my mom and my dad and my brother there. And they were supposed to wait, like a minute and 10 seconds. And if I wasn't up, do something about it. But I just wanted to make a cool YouTube video, I guess.
That's I love, illusions anyway, but I mean, that's really, it's more skill than anything when it comes to those kind of escape videos, right?
I think you could have just dressed up as a dog and maybe accomplished as much. So you don't have to put yourself at risk like that. So how was that received? What role did that play in getting you where you are now? Did you get a good pop off that?
Yes and no. Okay. It was one of my most viewed videos at the time. And then it kind of led me into doing other escape themed videos. I did the same kind of stuff, but with handcuffs. I'm really good at picking handcuffs. And then it did get me on a TV show, and it led to some videos that did particularly well. I did a video where I got 2 of my family members who are both in the military, and I gave them a bag full of restraints like rope, duct tape, handcuffs, straitjacket. And I said, hey, anytime in the next week, literally anywhere, I can be in public, I can be sleeping, I can be at the house, whatever, you can come and kidnap me. You come grab me, do whatever you want with me, take me anywhere you want, and you can restrain me with anything that's in that bag. And you give me 20 minutes to get out. And if I don't, I lose, basically. So that video did really, really well. And that kind of led to some other stuff.
It did.
Rick, but, I've seen this firsthand. Handcuffs, nothing for Andrew. If he can find anything that he can use as a tool, the handcuffs are off.
Can I bring the handcuffs myself? Are these handcuffs? You can take any handcuffs?
Yeah. So
I needed you as a friend in the 80s. Oh my god!
All I need is a paperclip. Yeah,
right.
Paperclip,
Okay.
Bobby pin, something like that.
Yeah.
Andrew, you also do movie reviews, and I guess that has got you and opened doors because you get invited to a lot of big time events now, right?
Yeah, sometimes we're still working on it. It's kind of just getting on people's radars and knowing people and getting emails. So I think the trivia about the movies did well, and people kind of see that. And then I also have the podcast, but yeah, I'll get emails and go to, I got to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3 early, which means a lot to me because I love Marvel, obviously.
And
It's one of the best Marvel movies in my opinion. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Okay, because I like the Marvel movies, and that I like that series, and I didn't think I was going to like Guardians of the Galaxy because I wasn't familiar with them as a kid, but I've really liked those movies.
Yeah, James Gunn did a great job. He took a group of superheroes that no one really knew about and made it one of the best Marvel movies with Guardians of the Galaxy, and then he kind of really brings it home with the third one, in my opinion. So, yeah, really good.
I'll make a note of that.
So yeah, and then I've just been able to go to some movie events and meet some people.
Like who are some of the stars you've met?
Don't hold back. We're not gonna get on you for saying your name dropping. This is we want to know.
We want to know.
We want to know.
Well, at the events that I've gone to, normally they'll kind of come in and like introduce the movie if they're in the movie. So I saw John Wick 4 early. Keanu Reeves was there to introduce that. Jake Gyllenhaal for a different movie. Michael Bay, Nicolas Cage. Those are the ones that are coming to mind.
Well, all of those are good, except for Nicolas Cage, because everybody's met him. But apparently, no. But he'll show up anywhere. No, so they because what's happened is it's just like this is how the game is played, and we try to tell everybody: you garner an audience, people want access to that audience. So it starts opening all sorts of doors because they believe that if you like the movie, you're now a player. I mean, they say he's got so many people that if he likes the movie, he makes impact.
Yep. Yeah. So and they also like will send you. They like to send like PR packages from the movie that will have like certain goodies and stuff, and they basically just send those out for free, but they're hoping that influencers will like post it on their Instagram story or make a post about it just because they like what you sent them. And that's something I didn't know that they did, but
yeah.
Andrew,
that's why I'm sending you a Rick and Bubba package.
Yeah. Do you wear the Spider-Man costume now? Is that kind of your uniform? Do they know you by that?
Yeah. So this is my Spider-Man hoodie. I've got 2 of them. The amount of comments I get that are like, does he ever wash this thing? Because I'm just wearing it all the time. I also have a couple of Spider-Man like full like professional costumes, but I kind of always wore this when I was growing up. It was just like the thing that I always wore because I love Spider-Man and I liked how it looked. And then I started filming the videos, and now people know me as like the Marvel trivia guy. So if I wear this out in public, it's like a beacon for anyone who's seen my videos. They're like, oh, that guy seems familiar. Yeah.
So what does Wallfellow mean? Where did that come from?
This is actually interesting. I got asked that for years, and I would never tell anybody. It was a secret. And
are you going to hold back, or are you going to tell us?
I'm going to tell you because it was a secret until I hit 1 million subscribers. And now that I've hit 1 million subscribers, I can tell everybody.
Okay.
So it's not that interesting of a story, but people seem to like it. When I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, I started writing a book, and it was just like a Lord of the Rings-esque kind of like Dungeons and Dragons book that I wrote. And I wrote probably like 60, 70 pages of this book at like 9 years old. It was just something that I was creating, and the main character was just called Wallfellow. So when I started a YouTube channel, I just named it Wallfellow, and then I just never changed it. I don't know why.
Did you ever finish the book?
I did not, but now I'm tempted.
I think you should.
I started to say, if you got that many influencers, a lot of them would probably want to see that. You sell 1 million books.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Matter of fact, I got a few books I want to send you as well. I'm going to send you all kinds of stuff. All right, so you have 3 names: Abracandrew, Wallfellow, and Spider-Man. So you'll answer to any of those.
Yeah, so I used to introduce all my videos as, hello, my name is Andrew Parker, a.k.a. Abracandrew, a.k.a. Wallfellow, a.k.a. Spider-Man. That was just kind of my intro. I don't do it anymore. Abracandrew was just kind of like a joke magician name, like way back in the day when I was doing magic.
Sure.
And then Spider-Man, obviously, Andrew, obviously, and Wallfellow, obviously. So,
Andrew, the movie premieres you've gone to and these stars, do you get to hang with them? You get a photo op with them? Which ones have you found to be the most? Which ones did you like? Which ones were the nicest to you?
It depends. A lot of the times we're kind of there doing like a Q&A with them, or they're like introducing the movie. So you don't get a lot of one-on-one time with them. The biggest one that I've gone to, like the full up like red carpet. I've done like full like I guess I'm thinking of 2 like full up red carpet premieres, like at the Chinese Theater in California for the Black Phone, and then I did one for Bullet Train, which was the one that had Brad Pitt in it. And funny story, it was in a theater, and I was probably like one of the last invites because they sat us very first row all the way to the right. So like I could literally have touched the movie screen. I had to watch the entire movie like this. But the best thing about that was when they brought out the cast to introduce the movie, Brad Pitt was like, I like high five Brad Pitt.
There you
go. It was pretty cool. Keanu Reeves, I didn't talk to him one-on-one, but when he did the Q&A in my little theater, he was pretty entertaining. I kind of liked him.
Everybody seems to like him.
Everybody that has run into him always says very good things about him.
All right, we'll continue this conversation. We'll come back more with Andrew Parker, YouTube influencer, when Rick and Bubba University, the podcast, continues. Bubba, we have talked quite a bit about our friends at Manscaped. You and I mean, when there's so many products out there, and look, we're not proud of it. There's been times before Manscaped.com existed, you and I used products that might have been made for a woman, strong enough for a man.
Rick, we believe in grooming.
Yeah, but so Manscaped says, you know what, just like we talk about on the program, you cannot ask men to properly groom themselves with products that are not designed for the way men were made. Well, let me tell you this. At manscaped.com, that's exactly what they are all about. And here comes the warm weather. Anybody dreading walking around with a pair of swim trunks on, shirtless? Okay. So if you would like right now to be sure that you are properly groomed for the upcoming weather, we're going to get you 20% off and free shipping on any of the products at manscaped.com if you'll just simply use the code BUBBA20. Now, I know, Bubba, you won't do this, but some people, they like trimming their chest hair. They've got products for that. It's the essential lawnmower.
Well, Rick, the season is coming for
right.
that.
It's waterproof. It's cordless. It's a body trimmer for wherever you think you need to trim a little, okay? And of course, also, they've got a package called the Performance Package, and that kind of gives you full body grooming. It's got a number of products in it, and it comes in a really cool case. You'll love that. So look at all the different products. We don't like to talk about things like nose hair, but it's part of it. The Weed Whacker does an incredible job. And also, look, your feet. Our feet can be, my wife's like, Rick, do something with those feet. Well, now at manscaped.com, they've got the Shears 2.0 nail kit for our feet. If you're going to be going out wearing sandals or something like this now, you need to get those feet taken care of. Everything you need for proper grooming, head to toe, for men. Go to manscaped.com, use the code BUBBA20, manscaped.com. That gets you 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com, the code BUBBA20. Andrew Parker, our guest, YouTube influencer. We're kind of walking down this road that Andrew Parker, he's been a magician, he's been an acrobat, he's done movie reviews. It says juggler. Can you juggle too, Andrew?
Yep. So I've juggled fire, I've juggled knives, I can juggle up to 5 balls. Just one of the things that I learned while doing magic. Yeah.
Andrew, you mentioned Man's Chinese Theater last segment about going to movie not movie reviews, but movie premieres there. And that's kind of a point where you cross Rick and Bubba history, because there's a hotel kind of catty corner to that called the Roosevelt, and it's a historic L.A. hotel. And that is the hotel where our Willie and Wanda story actually took place, which is one of our best-known bits over our 30-year career.
So I'll have to keep an eye out for it if I go there again.
Yeah, it's
you'll see it.
That block right there is it's full of energy. I'll tell you that, no doubt about it.
And I wouldn't mention even the state of Alabama if you go in the Hollywood Roosevelt.
Not to the staff. They're still probably scarred by that event. But so. Andrew, you're involved in so many things. The future, how does this play out down the road? Do you see yourself hosting a show? Do you just keep doing kind of what you're doing? Are you going to be a traveling stage show? How is this going to play out for Wallfella?
So what I'm doing now is I love it, obviously, right? So, but there's always ways I want to, it's kind of the balance of being content and not content, of being like content and happy with where you are in life, but then also striving for what's next. You got to have that balance. So right now, just so everyone knows what I'm doing, right? I'm posting, there's short form content, like the TikToks, Instagram Reels, Shorts, that kind of stuff. And then there's long form videos on YouTube, stuff like that. So I'm posting 2 or 3 shorts a day on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, whatever it is. And then I'm trying to post long form videos every couple of weeks. And then I'm also doing the podcast, and we do an episode or 2 of that every week. So one of my main goals for this year was to create a community. I've got 1 million subscribers, and you mentioned like me having way more subscribers than y'all, but I think y'all have way better of a community because people have seen my videos and they've subscribed, but they don't know me. They don't care about me unless they're watching my podcast. My community over there is great. So which is why I'm doing that. So in the future, I want to keep creating a community, because that's really important to me, because one of the main reasons I do this is to like help people get through their day, like entertain them, stuff like that. So when they get to know you, you really feel like you're making an impact a little bit more. And in the future, there's 5,000 things that I could do. I always want to, people always ask a YouTuber sometimes like, well, is the next step like you want to be in movies or you want to have a TV show? It's like, if you're paying attention, YouTube is kind of the new version of that. Like YouTube is the end goal for a lot now. If you ask most kids what they want to be, it's not a movie star anymore, it's a YouTuber. You can if you look at people like Mr. Beast, like he's had way more impact than most TV shows in the last 5 years. But
how many followers or subscribers, I don't even know what the right term is now, does he have? Because he's the walking dog, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's king of everything. He has over 100 million.
Good night. How does he compare to like Joe Rogan? Even though Rogan's only would you consider him just to be a podcaster?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he posts video versions of his podcast,
sure.
But he has. Yeah, I consider him a podcaster. I'm not sure. I would think like Joe Rogan's YouTube channel would have 20 million or less.
Yeah,
would be my guess.
So with the population, we'll ballpark it at 350 million. That has to be cool for you that 1 out of every 350 people in this country is watching your videos. But like you said, for the top dog, you're talking about 1 in every 3 people.
Yeah. It would baffle me if like anyone on the street that like is conscious doesn't know who Mr. Beast is at this point.
So I want to get into
Rick doesn't know who he is.
I don't, but I'm 50, but I'm 58 years old. So I mean, I'm not exactly.
You've never heard of Mr. Beast ever?
I haven't. No, I never have.
What?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure my sons have the same reaction. I won't tell them. You remind me a lot.
I know him is by seeing TV stories about him. And that he has more subscribers than anybody else.
Joe Rogan I've heard of,
but
I have a history of knowing him as an actor and all that. Mr. Beast, is it Beast?
Mr. Beast, yeah. Well, Joe Rogan has had Mr. Beast on his podcast.
But you have to understand, I'm doing a Bible study in the Revelation right now, so that doesn't make me feel good. I don't like that name, and I don't like that influence. But no,
that's fair.
Yeah. But anyway, so
Andrew,
but I want to get in, and I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. Go ahead.
But we only got about 15 more minutes. I want to get in to monetizing all this, and I'm not asking your business. You don't have to give us any numbers.
That's fine.
So from what I've been told, and look, we're in this world not the way you are, because we have many platforms, and the streaming, we certainly know it is the future. There's no argument about that. But the ability to monetize it to the same level we were able to monetize terrestrial radio, cable TV, I know it's going to catch up, but it's really complicated to figure out. I mean, I understand the common basics of I do a commercial within content like I'm doing today. That's pretty simple. But then all these drop-in commercials that YouTube drops in, and you got people selling them, and then you get checks on those. It's really hard to figure all that out. And also, it seems to be lots of really small amounts of money, and you got to really have a ton of people to get to the level that you can, buy a house and pay your own bills.
Buy groceries.
Yeah, only doing that. So have you found that to be complicated, or are you starting to figure it out?
Both. I mean, it's complicated, and I'm starting to figure it out. Again, for like the first 8 years of me doing this, I made in 8 years probably like $3,000. I basically made nothing. And then once you figure it out, it's nice. So yeah, there's a bunch of different ways, like you said, brand deals or ad reads. Yeah. is a big thing for creators. And then there's the AdSense. So that's basically like YouTube running the ads on the content you'll get. So the more views you get, the more money you'll make from that. I'm a short form creator. So like the CPM, or like the money I get per 1,000 views, is a lot less, because short form views aren't as monetizable as long form views.
See, I didn't know that. Yeah.
So that's one way, ads, brand deals. You can do stuff like Patreon and merchandise. And I've had the scary thing is, when you're asking about if I figured it out, you just never know. It's a very volatile thing, and I'm sure y'all have experienced this, but I could make, if I get like a bunch of brand deals and I get 100 million views in a month, 12,000, and then you lose a brand deal, you lose a partnership, and your views drop by 90%. And now you're not making enough to hit rent the next month, which is something that has happened this year.
So it wildly varies. I want to come back and touch on that, because Bubba and I, we tell people all the time, even on networks now, if they promise a number for, say, a sporting event, and that number doesn't deliver, then they don't get as much money from the advertisers who even bought it.
Yeah, because their deal has a range.
They promised them a certain audience, and it didn't deliver, so they still get paid, but they don't get paid what they would have gotten paid if they delivered the audience. So We'll come back. We'll talk a little more about that, and we got a few more minutes with Andrew Parker, YouTube influencer, when Rick and Bubba University, the podcast, continues. Tommy John, Bubba, the most comfortable underwear that I've ever put on.
Got them on right now.
Yeah, and I do too.
You want me to model?
Is that TMI? But
you don't need a model?
I don't, but I you know what? I appreciate your commitment to the brand.
Sure.
And I bet Andrew's taking notes. So anyway, Tommy John, they're so confident that it's going to be the best pair of underwear you've ever worn, and if it's not, it's free. Okay, do you think that really happens a lot? Can you stay in business if people are saying, "Hey,
no"? You better have happy customers.
The dozens of comfort innovations, like the breathable, lightweight, moisture-wicking fabric. I love that. 4 times the stretch of competing brands. They don't ride up. If you're like us and you got some pretty big thighs, they don't ride up. Okay, and they don't roll down around the hips. Over 20 million pairs sold, thousands of 5-star reviews, and people love Tommy John because they just fit the way they're supposed to. And Tommy John, I wouldn't even say they have customers; they have fanatics, and we are 2 of those. And if you like boxer briefs, there's no comparison. No comparison. I didn't even like boxer briefs until Tommy John said, try these. And you're right. I now wear them because that's the way I'd hope they would fit. So if you'd like to get yours right now, go to TommyJohn.com/RickBubba, TommyJohn/RickBubba, and that is going to get you 20% off. TommyJohn.com/RickBubba. All right, Andrew Parker is our guest on this edition of Rick and Bubba University, the podcast. YouTube influencer. Think about it, but we never even knew this phrase.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you this. You talked about monetizing it. One of the things is to do reads within your content. Who connects you? Do they contact you? Do you see, the way Bubba and I, we've lived our life is there's a sales team. There's a local sales team. There's a national sales team. They're out talking to people interested in partnering with us. They bring the marketing plan in. We approve it or we don't. Here's how much it costs, and here's what we get paid. So who goes out and finds these clients? Or if you get to a level, do they start coming to you? How does this work?
Yes, this is a whole other exhausting thing about what I do.
I want to figure it out.
Yeah, it's so like I said, one of my goals was create the community. I had 2 goals for this year, and it was create a community and then get more brand deals. And there's a couple different ways. You can have a manager or an agent that helps you find stuff, or you're a part of an agency. I've kind of done that before. They did not do a great job. Yeah. So a lot of people just manage themselves. Right now I'm managing myself. I would like to find a manager if one is good enough that is out there. But normally, they take 20%, but if you're doing it yourself, you get all of it. So I did a brand deal last month and I'm doing a brand deal this month. Both of those just emailed me. So I have my email in the links and all of my bios and on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, stuff like that. So if they find my page, they like it, they want to work with me, they can send me an email.
Okay, so you're saying you can get big enough, and you are wise to do it this way now, where the agent's 20% isn't worth it because people now you get to a level, they'll email you, and then you consider the deals just between you and them, right?
Yeah, so that definitely you earn more money that way.
Of course.
It's a balance because if there's an agent and he's getting you, $100,000 in brand deals and then taking 20% of it, you're going to make more than if you're doing it yourself.
Understood.
But the manager has to be good enough to do that, And
there's probably a lot of them trying to do it, but not many of them that are very good at it yet.
Andrew, do you know how many people on YouTube have 1 million followers? How big is that group?
So it's, each year it's gotten bigger. It used to be like 200 people, and then it was 500 people, and then it's gotten bigger and bigger. It's somewhere in the thousands now. I'm not sure what exactly, but it's of all YouTube accounts ever, it's like 0.001% or something that's actually made it above 1 million. But it's definitely a lot more in 2023 than it was in 2018.
I'm just trying to imagine the other side of this. If I am an advertiser and I'm wanting to get deals with this, and there's 1,000 people out there doing what you do, how do you decide who you're going to support? I mean, do you go by people who are doing things you like, or do you do it by sheer numbers? Or if they're all in the same category, I don't know how they would decide. Or maybe the fragmentation of that is why there's not as much easily accessible.
Well, they're probably trying to figure it out on the marketing end too, but I guess I would at some point, but you're right, it would take a lot of research. I'd have to think about my product, and that YouTuber's content garners this audience, and that's who I want to reach.
Right.
But that's going to take a lot of work.
Andrew, too, tell us a little bit, because you grew up in a fairly small suburb area. How is it living in LA?
Yeah. I'm I would consider myself a conservative Christian from Alabama who's now living in California, Los Angeles, California.
Is that worse than traffic?
Ooh, yeah. It's close. No, it's so for the first year that I lived here, people would always be like, "Oh, how's Los Angeles?" And I'd be like, "I like work, and there's a lot of YouTubers out here. I like that, but I go home to Alabama and Florida for real people,
Right.
Now it took a year and a half, but I found a really good group of people, in terms of like their realness and being able to like actually have normal conversations and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm very thankful that I have found that group. They're still not exactly like me in sets of values or beliefs or whatever, but they're all loving people enough that you can really feel comfortable. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, other than that, I kind of just focus on work, and crazy stuff is happening, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, you got to admit the weather's nice, right?
Oh, the weather is great, bro. I lived in Florida. I went to college in Florida for 2 years. I'm a big Disney guy. Obviously, I had an annual pass to Disney World, Universal, everything. I was going out in the sun. My eyes were dying. I've got to put sunglasses on. I'm melting. Out here, like in Disneyland out here, you can walk from one ride to the other without feeling like you're dying. In Disney World, this is impossible.
Right, it is. Disney World's one of the most miserable places on earth to walk around.
It's terrible.
So what content are you seeing? It's obvious to me you're trying to see what sticks. What content that you produce seems to get the most?
Yeah, what is your lead, your best pitch?
Yeah, so I always say that social media is trying a bunch of things and then doubling down on what works.
Right, exactly.
You have to constantly be experimenting to figure out something that, one, you like and are comfortable with, and two, actually works. And I found that with the trivia. Man on the street, like interview style stuff, has been around for ages, so it obviously works. But I took that and made it something that I love, which is Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, stuff like that. And then I just found a bunch of different ways to do that. not just the street interviews, but like games with friends and oh, you have 60 seconds to guess this character using yes or no questions, like a bunch of different variations of that. And then that still allows me to, I used to do Magic for Strangers. I still do. And I've always enjoyed like connecting with strangers and like making them happy. So now I can do that, but in a different way. Like I did Magic. I went home to Alabama to the Galleria, and a kid recognized me in the Galleria. And so I immediately filmed a video with him, and I did Marvel trivia with him on the spot. And it was Christmas time. So I was like, all right, you just won anything in the Galleria that you want, like up to like $100 or something. So we got to go buy him
that's cool.
some gifts for Christmas. And then, God works in weird ways. Like I was with my parents, and the parents of the kid like took my parents aside and like told them this whole story about how like they didn't know if they were going to be able to. I'm going to friggin' stuff like this gets to me.
Oh yeah,
like sweet messages, bro. Yeah, that's what I
no
look for,
crying in the Spider-Man outfit.
Come on, Peter Parker doesn't cry. Of course, actually he does, but yeah.
But they weren't sure if what Christmas they were going to be able to provide, because like their house had burned down literally earlier that week. It's just and with the podcast, like I said, that the community you're creating, the amount of messages me and my podcast co-hosts have gotten, okay, so I have the 1 million subscriber YouTube channel, right? And then I have the 4,000 subscriber podcast that I just started. I've gotten more messages from people to the podcast saying, I look forward to every Monday now. Every Monday I'm happy now because of what you guys are doing. Like we've had people message us about their just really deep, like emotional stuff, like people they've lost and things that they're going through and how the podcast has helped them. And that is like, you get one of those messages, and then the 8 years of bull crap that I went through is like worth
exactly.
it.
Exactly. And once again, you're showing that even though visual, and we're doing visual, you got to, but you're finding out something that always has made radio special. There is a connection to people just hearing the human voice and listening to it that brings an intimacy and a connection that seeing somebody on TV or on video just never can duplicate. And people, I'm not saying it's not important. People love to see things, but like Bubba, you said it years ago, you just don't feel like you know them, even though you may be entertained by them.
Right.
But when you hear someone and you just listen to their voice, now either on a podcast or on radio, there's a more personal connection. You start thinking you actually know them. I don't know why that is, but it's always been true.
Mm-hmm. Andrew, very interesting, all of this, as it continues to unwind. And, of course, if you want to mention you're going to be on this podcast or your millions of followers, that would be all right, too.
It's called Rick and Bubba University. Let me run this down. Get it wherever you get podcasts.
Okay.
And then there's a show they do called Rick and Bubba. You can find it at rickandbubba.com. Just helping you.
rickandbubba.com. Got it.
Tell our audience where they can get you, all your stuff.
So I'm Wafellow on everything. So that's WAFELLOW. If you like movies, if you like nerdy stuff, Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Disney, I'm doing anime, like all that stuff. Come hang out. And then, so that's on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Wafellow. And then I also have the podcast, which is the Escape Pod podcast. And that's on anywhere you get podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, and then we're also on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
Andrew Parker, thanks. It's been a pleasure.
Enjoyed it, Andrew.
Bubba's been telling me
guys.
that
y'all are legends. I love y'all.
Well, man, you're kind to say that, and thanks for also being one of the good guys in the middle of all this.
I think that just means you're old.
Yeah, that's all it means. Yeah. Andrew, thank you very much. We wish you nothing but success, brother. And thank you for being with us on this edition of Rick and Bubba University, the podcast.